idea the amount of ignorant mess we're about to get into right now.
Sit your $5 ass down before I make you.
Hello and welcome to a brand new preview episode for Black on Black Cinema. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
And Terrence.
What's up?
All right, guys, this is preview episode for episode 166. We'll tell you what that movie is later. How about that? There's a teaser. Let's just get right into the random topic of the week. Tyler Perry came out recently and said that I don't know if you guys know this, but he just want to let people know that he doesn't have a writer's room, that he does all the writing himself, which was a shock to me.
What?
That such genius could come out of only one man's head. I mean, like, honestly, this is the silliest thing he's ever decided to tell us publicly. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, yeah, dude, we know.
Yeah.
You write and direct.
It's one of the open secrets that Tyler Perry has.
That everyone knows. So, how do you guys feel about that? Do you think that he would be better if he had a writer's room? That seems like a stupid question. How much better would his movies be with a writer's room?
He said, because I read a little bit of what he said he tried having a writer's room once, but it came, like, the scripts came out to be a mess. And I'm like, that seems interesting. Why would they be a mess? Because they weren't up to your standards? Or because you felt like it didn't, he said they didn't speak to his audience. And I'm like, okay, I understand who your audience is. Like, my aunt is part of your audience. She watches all of that garbage. Like, I question, she's like an elementary school teacher. We're like, yo, that don't, whatever. Anyway, but when someone first told me about this, I was like, no shit. No shit.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, they all seem to be the same movies.
Right, they're the same movies, and he's mad disrespectful to black women in almost all of his scripts.
Yeah.
Like, he's always preaching to black women. And again, I'm just a black dude that hates black women, apparently.
I've said it numerous times.
Yeah, a lot of people have said it. But, like, really? I don't understand. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
It's true.
It's fine, whatever. Sure, I hate black women. Whatever. But he seems mad disrespectful. Like, his scripts seem mad disrespectful. Like, he treats black women like they're stupid.
Like they're stupid.
He's preaching. He's constantly preaching. Well, this whole church shit. He's constantly preaching, like, marriage and, like, if you sleep around, you're gonna get AIDS. Like, that happens in 2 fucking movies.
Yeah, well, don't be a trail.
Like, what is wrong with you?
I always
like, Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Like, it's like the woman's revenge. But, like, she was
a simp.
She was, like, dependent upon this dude.
Yeah.
Until she reached her breaking point.
Yeah, it wasn't as empowering as I think he thought it was.
And as preachy as he is,
and you hated that.
Yo, I don't even want to get on it. I don't want to get on it. But as preachy as he is, like, that whole premise of that movie was she was the most vindictive person, and that's not what Christianity, at least the Christianity that he preaches, tells you to be.
She threw that nigga in a bathtub.
Almost let him drown.
He was crippled. Yeah. And then the other dude saved her life or some shit like that.
Of course.
And then the light-skinned dude came to her rescue at the end.
Of course.
Like, of course, because
stereotypes.
Fucking clown. Like, look, again, his hustle is amazing. What he's done.
Yeah, he's accomplished a lot.
Amazing. But, like, it's on the...
So
it's kind of fucked up.
I always feel like my biggest issue with Tyler Perry, because I think, we've done clearly a bunch of his movies in the past. I always feel like the bigger issue with Tyler Perry isn't necessarily the quality of his movies. That is an issue, but that he could do so much more with the resources and name, recognition and notoriety that he has in Hollywood and with audiences, right? Him not having a writer's room, to me, is really irritating from the perspective of you could give young black writers specifically, a chance. Yeah.
Like, he seems kind of like, I don't want to say he's selfish,
but it is a little bit of that.
He gives black folks work,
but only through his lens.
Like, yeah, it's all the Tyler Perry Studios, Tyler Perry Productions, directed, starring, written by Tyler Perry. Like, that's all he wants. Like, that's everything on all his movies.
Right.
That's in the front. And I'm like, I wouldn't want that in some of those movies. Yeah.
Right.
Because some of them are really, 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 really fucking bad. Like, they're fucking garbage.
Right. What do you think?
Sorry.
Michael?
I'm doing a little bit of research. I'm on the site, the Grio, where it's Tyler Perry responding to the widespread backlash. He was talking with Level, a publication for men of color, age 30 and up, for a question and answer interview, where he set the record straight. Quote, so when I first started my career, I got this deal with TBS. When it was time to staff, I went to DGA, SAG, and the IATSE, all unions representing directors, actors. Your site is terrible with these ads. All representing directors, actors, and stagehands. And I told them, TBS isn't paying me the money up front. I'm financing these shows for myself. I'm not Sony. I'm not Disney. I need to work out a deal for pay rates. They worked out great deals for me. At the time, I had a bunch of writers who were non-union, and I was unhappy with every single script they wrote. They were not speaking to the voice. They just didn't get it. Which mean they probably did get it. They probably were coherent, reasonable, respectable. And that's just not the voice that Tyler Perry
He was like,
to
yo, there is nobody yelling about being dark-skinned and hating Jesus in this movie.
Not that, where are we at? Perry said he was also negotiating with a black female lawyer to get Writers Guild of America writers on his show. I told her I can't afford to pay those rates that every other studio pays. I need to structure differently. It looked like the deal was going through, so I fired the 4 writers and prepared to hire new writers through the WGA. That's when the press went ballistic. Perry said, quote, I'm getting calls that I fired writers for trying to unionize. What? I came to the WGA on my own to try and work with them.
That's not now.
No, right. I'm sort of like yada, yada, yada.
Money to pay whoever now, though.
Right.
Like that argument is bullshit.
I only say this just to be fair. Because we are, we're fair people, unlike Tyler Perry, who refuses to hire black people.
Behind the scenes.
But look, all right, I believe him when he says,
I believe all that happened, sure.
Yeah, that Turner wasn't trying to cough up money or whatever. Sure. The question is, does he still do these practices? Does he still... Like, he has no excuse to not hire people to write for him.
Right.
At this point.
Right. You have a huge studio at this point.
And the fact that he apparently still does not, I think, does prove that he's a bit selfish. Yeah. Like, he doesn't want to pay people to do it. Because people have seen enough of these movies that they kind of get the voice of a Tyler Perry movie.
Right. But I would also make another argument, which is you run a studio. You don't have to put out every single thing that comes out of your studio is in a same box. Well, Warner Brothers doesn't put out 20 movies a year and they're all exactly the same. Right? Like, you are a studio now. Why aren't you... Okay, so if you don't have a writer's room, that means that your studio has a choke point, which is all of the ideas have to come from you. You can only write so much at a time. If you had 5 or 6 people on staff or 20 people on staff, they could be doing like, hey, Tyler, you're doing, whatever movie you're working on. We're working on whatever TV show. Like, we're coming up with new material. Get more stuff out. There's no reason why Tyler Perry Studios isn't a haven for black people, or if he wants to open it up, people of color. Like, that's a studio that they can go to and work in. Yeah. He's just like, I want my 5 movies, and that's it. That's what's going to end up happening. And I hate to say this, if he continues down that road, because he's the choke point, he literally will not be able to put out enough material. Or if people get sick of that material after a while, then you have nothing. And then you're scrambling to try to get some other voice. Why not put out multiple things? Look, you're reaching the like solid 55 and older black folk demographic. Like, that's probably solidly his, right? You telling me there's not in the Tyler Perry Studios idea, there's not a way to get like 50-year-old Latino folks? Like, get some people who are writing. Like, get some stuff that you can get some 20-year-old black folks on, or some teen stuff, or some kid stuff. Why not?
His studio.
Wow, yeah,
be
he's really he's doubling down on it. This article goes on to say he said his
5
decision.
or 6 fucking shows in the works by himself.
That's a lot of work.
Not out yet.
He said his decision to write his own stuff is because other writers routinely didn't deliver what his viewers have come to love, and also because of overpayments due to so many rewrites. Quote, this is Tyler Perry. Look, 1 year we overpaid the WGA by $1 million. The interviewer asks, so no more writer's room? And Perry responds, after dealing with all that bullshit, no, I ain't doing it. And okay, the question becomes, does he have a responsibility to do this? Or is it like, would we expect this from a white person? Like you white guy have a responsibility to hire white men to do your thing, or is that not a fair comparison?
I don't think it's a fair comparison.
All right,
Almost positive, like the other black writers don't write everything that they do. Like take Shonda Rhimes for example.
Yeah,
She's got a writer's room.
Yeah,
right,
and it shows.
That's a fair one-to-one,
and it shows because her casts, all of them run the gamut of every person. No matter what they look like, identify as, whatever. Like she has it all.
Right. And she hits every demographic, like you said. And that's why when push came to shove, Netflix was like, here's $100 million. Right? You can talk about not having a writer's room all you want, but Shonda Rhimes just got $100 million to do what she does. So look, and he might think, hey, I don't need that or whatever. And that's fine. Like, I'm not saying he does, but there is a notion of pigeonholing yourself.
I mean, he's already done that. All his movies are the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah, you know.
Like I watched maybe like 5 or 6 comedy specials over the last 2 days. Even comics have a second writer. Like most comics, like they're like the main person, but like they have someone to punch their shit up sometimes.
Yeah. Most people, when they write, there are 2 writers.
Right. At the very least. Right. Like you can't
very few people write everything on their own.
Because you're proofreading your own shit.
Yeah, and
like
that's almost impossible.
You write, you're like, this is fine. Who's going over it?
Fucking nailed it.
That's why your shit is garbage. Yeah. Like, again, I don't...
At least get an editor. At least get an editor, man. Like that, and that you listen to, right? That you actually listen to. So, look, I think he has some raw talent, but I think if he actually used that power and talent in a way that expanded his brand, like he wouldn't be just making movies that hit $50 million and that's it.
But okay, back to my question: is he obligated to do so as a black filmmaker, as someone who has brought himself up to kind of be a haven? Like he has this studio for specific reason,
but apparently it's not.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. Right. What's the point of building this massive studio and having this big grand thing if you're not going to use it?
Well, he rents out the studios for other people. Like, but his productions, it's all him.
Right, but use other people. Like, you could be doing so much more. You could be doing so much more. And like, there's a part of being a manager that a lot of people, even though they're creative, cannot do. Which is you have to let go of something.
No, creatives are very difficult creatives tend to get married to their work. Right. And those are generally the worst type of creators because they I mean, like I'm not to like take a dump on certain creators, but like M. Night Shyamalan was one of those people at one point where it was like, everyone's calling him a genius, right? Mm. And he would just write his stuff and then that would be it.
Yeah.
And it's not. I
mean, there was that whole thing on because he had a guest spot on what was it, Entourage, where he was like, he goes to Ari and he's like, hey, here's my script, read it. And he's like, oh, you want me to read it from notes? He was like, no, I just want you to read it. It doesn't need any notes. Right? Yeah, it's like, no, he doesn't need it. So, but. Yeah, and that's why his movies were profoundly terrible for a while because he didn't get any notes back. So yeah, look, I think a writer's room is a good thing. I also think that it says a lot that one of the most prominent black directors isn't willing to hire black writers, but we get mad that Hollywood doesn't, the rest of white Hollywood doesn't want to hire black writers. Well, if he's not going to, what can you possibly expect from someone else?
Right.
Right? Like if you're supposed to be making movies that are supposed to speak to us and you're supposed to be promoting us, and I understand that, and I think that's great. And look, whether I like his movies or not, or the quality of his movies, I think he does have a place, right?
Yeah.
But if you're going to speak to black people, you're going to do stuff for black people, then the least you could do is hear some other black voices.
Yeah.
If nothing else, just get them to work on one project and see what it works out to be.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, if he got, like, okay, what's her name? What's the woman who wrote Queen and Slim? She's on the
Lena Waithe.
Lena Waithe. She's on the logo. If Tyler Perry had hired somebody like Lena Waithe before she like blew up, like she got discovered on fucking Aziz Ansari's show, right? Because she wrote the Thanksgiving episode, right? That everybody loved and everything else. If I'm Tyler Perry, I'm like, yo, this episode was amazing. It's incredible. Bring in Lena Waithe. But because you make such short-sighted shit,
Right,
you're not going to do anything
like
that has gay folks in it.
That episode didn't speak to his
Right.
crowd. Like, you want to diversify, right? Right? I mean, you have your crowd just fine. You can write whatever the fuck you want for your crowd, but like, bring other folks in to write to like branch out,
Right.
so other people will like your shit.
Right.
That's more money for you, nigga.
I don't
That
get
doesn't
it.
make any sense to me. But okay, all right, fine.
So
Sure.
I will end that. I think we'll end that conversation there, just because we're short on time. And then I will tell you what the movie we're going to do. It's Tyler Perry's A Fall from Grace. So this release.
I don't know what it's about. I'm going blind as fuck. I don't know what it is.
I don't know who's in it. I didn't even know it existed.
It doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't exist yet. So let me read the log line. By the way, this will be on Netflix January 17th. So by the time our episode comes out, obviously you'll be able to watch it. The log line for this is: disheartened since her ex-husband's affair, Grace Waters feels restored by a new romance. But when secrets erode her short-lived joy, Grace's vulnerable side turns violent. Directed by Tyler Perry, written by Tyler Perry, starring Tyler Perry. With also,
What is he in it?
he's like a lawyer. No, he's like a lawyer or something. Cicely Tyson is in it, and
Is Cicely Tyson the woman that got divorced? I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
Cicely Tyson. Phyllis Rashad is in this.
I
Crystal
feel like this is elder abuse.
What's the name is in it? Eggs from.
Oh my God.
Jax?
Yeah.
yeah, Jax from Mortal Kombat.
Makai Brooks.
Yeah, Makai Brooks. Yeah, he's in it. So he's like the main bad guy.
Of
course
course,
he is.
because he's dark-skinned and bald.
no.
Dark-skinned and bald.
No, but don't worry, because he's wearing a wig in the trailer. It's a flat top, and he looks like the nigga from Cameo, and it's hilarious. So I'm not playing.
Is this contemporary?
Sure. Let's go with that. I don't know. So, A Fall from Grace. Please don't watch the trailer before you watch the movie. I beg you. All right. That's it for us, guys. And we will see you next week for episode 166, A Fall from Grace.
See you.
Take it easy.
Bye. You're watching the Black on Black Cinema YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our full reviews of black movies, past and present. And every other week, we do a preview episode where we talk about a random topic that affects the black community.